was just sort of thinking, before coming today, how actually this relates to my ministerial portfolio, which is decentralisation. Of course, everything that we're talking about today is completely consistent and indeed supports the vision that I think many people have to get power out of centralised places where it is, whether it's in Whitehall, Westminster, or in the major cities, and have communities all across the country able to operate, able to do things differently, able to talk to each other, able to build a sense of community. And one of the reasons I was particularly delighted, and I didn't know this was going to happen, that the Goudhurst Parish Council have been chosen for this initial funding, is that Goudhurst, I think, are a real exemplar of how you can make use of technology to bring communities together. I know my friend Peter Rollington is here. Where is Peter? Peter's sitting at the back. Many people in this room may be in receipt of a bi-weekly email called West Kent Watch. People familiar with that? It is a fantastic email that Peter has put together. When did you start doing it, Peter?
Oh, actually 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah. Just shows what a kind of how impressive Peter was. This is a digest of crime reports in the area of West Kent. It started off very locally to the West Weald, and such was the demand, working closely with the police, that it expanded to more or less the whole of the Tonbridge Wells and then Tonbridge and Malling area. And I think there are plans to roll it out elsewhere. So, 6 years before we had crime mapping promoted by the Home Office, what you have in Peter's email is ward by ward, what happened in the last 2 or 3 days, what incidents were reported. So you can see patterns, people can be aware to look out for a particular criminal that seems to be robbing garden sheds, where the petrol's being siphoned off. Incredibly important initiative. The police are the biggest champions of this now, but that was something that came out of Goudhurst, and in order for it to be even more successful in the future, we need everyone to be able to access it, and people that don't have the degree of broadband access that we all want them to have are going to be, to some extent, excluded from that. So I think we've got almost a kind of vision of localism here. You've got an initiative that wasn't conceived by any civil servant or minister in Whitehall, that's proved incredibly successful, that is being replicated right across the country now. I was speaking to the policing minister, who is very interested in getting other communities to follow this. And I hope that the investment that Goudhurst is going to get will allow more initiatives like that to take place. But it really just shows how this technological agenda and the localism agenda are actually one and the same. But it also involves the same paradox, because as Kevin says, the coverage is so patchy at the moment that you wouldn't think that just 35 or 36 miles from London that you could be in areas of coverage that might be as remote as the Highlands of Scotland, for that matter. Completely unacceptable. And so the paradox is this: although the essence of decentralisation and localism, just as is the possibility of the digital economy to allow people to do things spontaneously in different ways and to have a more distributed set of solutions to problems. The paradox is this: that actually sometimes, in order to achieve that, you need a bit of a push from the centre to make sure that everyone has access to the possibilities this offers. So the fact that I was appointed Minister of State for Decentralisation, you might think is an oxymoron to have someone at the centre responsible for decentralisation. You think, well, this is a contradiction in terms. But actually, just exactly the point that Kevin was made, if you really want to make sure that everyone has access to these new powers and these new rights, then actually it needs to be a deliberate project. You can't just assume that it will happen without any intervention, without any interest from people that have their fingers on the purse strings or on the levers of power at the moment. It has to be deliberate. You have to make sure that every part of the country, every community is going to be included rather than excluded. And so in my case, we've introduced a localism bill that just finished its stages in the House of Commons this week, just a couple of days ago. Big majority of 80, it goes to the House of Lords. But that is about giving rights to local people to be able to do things differently, but also crucial in supporting it is that they should have access to the support in terms of policy from ministers in central government to unblock some of the barriers, legislative, statutory, or sometimes just inertia that stand in the way. But also, it is important that some funding is available where it is needed. And I know that the government, the Culture Secretary and Ed Vaizey have made a commitment of £500 million to support Superflux broadband. But how that's deployed, how you can get greatest effect from it is clearly a matter for continued discussion. And I just want to say how fortunate I feel that in Kevin, in Roger and KCC, that actually I can have those conversations on behalf of everyone in this room with a degree more impetus than I might be if we didn't benefit from the council that we have. So thanks very much indeed for inviting me to listen and to take forward what you are going to instruct me to send back to Whitehall today. Thanks a lot.